What's up guys, and we're back with some more Genshin Impact, and today we're going to be checking out Catalyst, the worst weapon type. And that's not me saying that they're the worst weapon type, but I mean, we're going to see the reasons why Vars is saying that it could be the worst weapon type, you know, and get that perspective. But I mean, Catalyst, if I just give my personal quick opinion on them, I mean, it's a cool concept, I'm not gonna lie, and I mean, I have a character, I use a character like Kokomi, for instance, and I enjoy using her, but then like, I'm finally building Ningguang, for instance, and that character, like, I feel like the animations are just like, I don't know, I feel like it's just super stiff, and like, they could make, like, Catalyst users more innovative and, like, exciting at the same time, you know? But, for it being the worst when it comes to damage and stuff, I don't know, I feel like people could probably make the argument that bow characters are. I mean, like, aside from Ganyu, you know, Ganyu charge shot completely cracked, sure. Like, but the other characters, like, are they really cracked just because they're using a bow, or is it the, you know, using their skills that make them so good, you know? That could be used as an argument too. But anyways, we're about to get into this video, so as always, if you enjoy my reaction, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's get straight into this video, as we're on the road to 4,000 subscribers.
If you were to guess which weapon type in Genshin Impact would be considered the worst, what would it be? There are 5 different weapon classes as of version 2.4. Swords, claymores, polearms, bows, and catalysts.
I hope we get more.
The game doesn't have as wide of a roster as other gacha titles, only releasing about 1 or 2 characters per month. But there are a good number of units per weapon type, and while they don't have as much of an impact in the game's combat,
I hope we get lances, honestly.
I feel like it warrants a bit of discussion. Just recently I uploaded an episode on why no one plays Lisa, marking the 3rd Catalyst user of the series up till now. It's not just her, Kokomi and Klee either. Barbara, Ningguang, and Yanfei struggle with their own problems too, which prompted me to make this video. The Catalyst is arguably the worst weapon type in Genshin. Currently, the only widely used characters with that weapon type are Sucrose and Mona. The rest are either below average or niche at best, not to mention it's the smallest in size, albeit only by 1. The other 4 weapons typically have 1 or 2 characters that immediately come to mind when you think of the strongest. For bows, it's Ganyu, Venti, Child. For claymores, it could be Eula or maybe Ito.
But it... Why is Beto crying?
It's a no-brainer, there's like 50 of them. Same with swords. A plethora of very dominant and versatile units. But even if you were to pit the users against their counterparts, I feel like no one can say in good conscience that it's as good as the others. Today we're going to discuss the issues behind Catalyst. Is the weapon holding its wielders back, or is it fine and the problems lie within the characters themselves? Let's see what we can find out. So, one of the positive aspects of this game lies in its simplicity. As far as actives are concerned, each character has a basic attack, charge attack, plunging attack, elemental skill, and elemental burst. In terms of equipment, they have their weapon and 5 artifacts, and basic combat entails the usage of combining elements together. It's very beginner friendly. You don't have to understand complex mechanics or macro like you would in a MOBA.
Yeah, easy to pick up.
You have to memorize combos and precise buttons.
Yeah, you're not playing Tekken, you're not playing
like you would in a fighting
freaking
SNK.
The
actual stats of the
Fatal
equipment
Fury
itself, the weapons could not be more basic. They have an attack stat, a secondary stat, and a passive property. Some that offer rudimentary benefits, like Wolf's Gravestone, giving you extra attack power.
Which I still don't have.
Attack power, but you know, it's just
I'm gonna keep saying it until I get it.
Others can completely alter the way a character plays, such as the 4 sacrificial weapons, which share the ability of having a percentage chance to reset your elemental skill cooldown upon cast, game-changing for certain units. The weapon types themselves have basic standards of design. Swords have short range but fast attack speed and moderate damage. Claymores have long range and high damage, but slow attacks. However, they're more effective at damaging solid objects like ores or shields on monsters. Polearms are the most balanced when it comes to power, speed, and range.
Yeah, I love polearms. Polearms, I think, are like honestly my favorite.
Charge attack, they have aim shot, turning your game into a third-person shooter for more precise aim, and can be turned into elemental attacks on full charge. Then we have Catalyst, another ranged weapon. They're essentially this game's form of magic. As such, their normal charge and plunging attacks by default deal elemental damage based on whatever vision they carry. Mona's Hydro, so her Catalyst does Hydro damage. Sucrose's Animo, so her Catalyst does Animo damage. So on and so forth. Unlike the 4 physical weapons, each
I don't know what type of ad that was.
To inflict damage through Catalyst, giving more individuality from character to character. For example, Barbara's auto attacks conjure bursts of water at the nearest enemy. Ningguang fires projectiles that travel in a straight line. Klee doesn't even use her Catalyst, she just throws bombs from her backpack. But regardless of how the normal attacks are animated, Catalyst users employ the same lock-on system as bows, just at less range. As for the charge attack, it differs as well, each with their own unique functions, though usually it consists of a condensed burst of elemental damage.
I don't know, like, if it's just me, but like, when I play as a Catalyst user, like, I like the whole concept as them, but for some reason it feels like a bit frustrating to play as them. I don't know. It's just weird. Like, it just feels like super stiff to me. I don't know, like, if you guys feel the same way, but if you do, let me know. But that's just my thoughts.
Area directly in front of them. As the only weapon that inflicts elemental damage by default, Catalyst users are placed in an interesting situation. On one hand, they're capable of achieving elemental reactions unconditionally through their auto attacks, which is a big deal as bow users have to expend time charging an aim shot, while melee weapons have to be imbued through.
You can just do it on the fly.
On the other, it means they're exclusively locked to their original element and cannot be changed by other means. For example, if you take a sword user like Kuting and activate her elemental skill, her attacks convert into electro damage. If she stands on top of C6 Bennett's Fantastic Voyage, her attacks become imbued with pyro. Tongyun's elemental skill can make her do cryo damage, so on and so forth. Then again, most of the time every unit prefers to stick to one element anyway, so it's not a big weakness, but it is worth mentioning. Now, going by this information alone, there doesn't appear to be any ostensible problem regarding the weapon itself. In fact, some of them are pretty good at helping your team in combat. For instance, the most popular weapon of choice for support units like Barbara or Mona is the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers, a 3-star weapon with a very effective passive, especially at max refinement. Whenever they swap out, the new character taking their place gets a boost of 24 to 48% attack for 10
Yeah, that's
seconds.
good. That is pretty damn good.
Even a 3-star weapon, that is not bad at all.
Yeah, I was legit about to say, not bad, not bad.
One R5 tails by this point. So then, what's up with Catalyst users, and why do they see much less play than the other weapon types? Is it purely just coincidence, or is there something fundamentally wrong with the weapon? It's honestly kind of both. At its core design, Genshin Impact is an action RPG hack-and-slash type game. By default, melee weapons are the standard, as the only stipulation for using them correctly is to be right in your opponent's faces, which we're planning on doing anyway. Bows have the luxury of an aim shot mode, temporarily moving the camera to simulate a third-person shooter point of view, thus allowing you to directly aim at whatever target you want to prioritize. Where this becomes a problem for Catalyst is that it touches on the one game mechanic in Genshin that's either sorely missing or underdeveloped: targeting. For the sake of argument, in Nier Automata, you're operating your character as well as a pod that assists you in battle.
This is like the first time I'm actually seeing Nier gameplay, by the way. This is a game that I plan on playing.
By pressing the L2 button in lower difficulties, the pod will automatically begin to lock onto an enemy, and you can use your right analog stick to change who it should be focusing on. This is especially important when facing aerial
enemies. This is something that I was thinking about, though. Like, legitimately yesterday when I was thinking about, like just Genshin weapons and stuff, and like I was playing as Ningguang and I was talking to my friends, I'm like, it'd be cool if we could just like move around more when we're using a Catalyst user. This is legit what I said. I'm like, you know, like from Marvel, like Marvel for instance, right? And you know the Human Torch, you know how he moves around and like he'll throw fireballs and stuff, but like he's still like a projectile type person. Like, I know it's like an interesting comparison, but that's what I thought about. I'm like, he's able to just aim in different directions. Why don't they let us do that with Catalyst? Like, it just get more like mobility, what we're doing, more aiming with it, like, in a sense. You get what I mean? Hopefully I made like a decent comparison, but I legit said that last night. I'm like, huh. Like, I just,
your pod's gun. Moreover,
I'd like
this
to
allows
just
the pod to attack a target
move around with it more, aim with it
as
more.
the player or the camera angle to directly be facing the enemy in question. In other words, you can run and strafe side to side while the pod does all the work for you. I say all this because in the context of Genshin, there's no supplemental lock-on feature besides hit scan, which is horribly inconsistent. Bow users circumvent this by staying in aim shot most of the time, but Catalyst users do not have this feature, preventing them from being able to selectively choose who they want to attack. You might think this is only a problem when facing a cluster of enemies, but it can also come into play while in single target matchups. There's no way to tell who you're locked onto or whether you're in range.
That's
to
a good
lock
point.
onto anyone
That's something
at all.
that they should probably try to fix in the future.
The lack of proper targeting indicators make Catalyst the most inconsistent and inaccurate weapon type of the 5. Those with projectiles, such as Ningguang and Yanfei, fly much slower than arrows, so they actually have the chance of missing or being intercepted by other enemies. Adding on to its poor usability, despite being a very integral part of most of their kits, Catalyst users have very poor combat fluidity. Not saying they're
there should be some type of way that lets us like you said, a lock-on system for sure.
It's a little unintuitive. Just about every melee unit's
like just do like
involves a gradual,
like I don't know, do like a quick little thing. Well, I don't know how you would do it on PC, but like if I was using like a PlayStation controller or something, right? Just get like the stick, like the right stick, and just like quickly have a little circle, I don't know, aim, click with it. Just click, boom, locks onto an enemy. Like something super quick that it wouldn't like interrupt the gaming experience for it. But other games have lock-on systems. It's pretty simple. I feel like for Catalyst users, they need that pretty
forward
bad.
Advance in position as they knock enemies further back. Bow units do the opposite, gradually stepping backwards to account for enemies walking towards them, but Catalyst users remain in place the entire time.
That's what I'm saying. They just stay there. I hate it.
Base damage value like Claymores,
I hate it so much of how they just stand there. They're just stiff as hell. Just like move around. If Catalyst movers, like users moved around while they threw their attacks, it'd be so much better. Like it's
can on melee. To demonstrate,
oh my god.
Whenever you wish to use a charge attack on someone like
drive me freaking crazy.
Their normal attack windup,
like they just stand right there. You get beaten the hell out of when you do that.
And by extension everyone else, the first attack comes out quickly and then switches to a charge attack, allowing her a very fluid 1-2 combo. Kutin as well. Normal attack then charge attack. Child's melee combo is 3 normal attacks and then a charge attack.
I like the concept so much of Catalyst users, but Jesus, he's stiff as hell.
There's a lot of dead time in between different moves that you have to animation cancel, and that can narrow the margin for error. If memory serves, the clunky animation issue was addressed later on with Yanfei and Kokomi, but they're still tethered to all the other issues. The only instance where Catalyst combat isn't too much of a problem is if you're ironically not using them whatsoever. Sucrose exists mainly to use her elemental skill and burst, not so much her normal attacks. Due to this, it's kind of difficult to design a team around a Catalyst main DPS, not that there are that many of them to begin with, and it's also why all the good ones are supports instead. As far as practical elements,
because you don't even focus on using their normal attack, you're just using their skills.
Have a universal 50 stamina cost on their charge attacks. All the Kuching mains complain about a 25 stamina cost, while the Catalyst mains sit over there with twice that amount.
That is crazy.
To reposition, and you can only really get 3 or 4 attacks in a given rotation at most. That said, a few of them do have ways to bypass this cost. Ningguang's backup plan lets her use her charge attack for free after a normal one if she has a Star Jade. But remember what I said about Catalyst's attack patterns. She can't transition from a normal attack to a charge attack as smoothly as melees can. Klee's Pounding Surprise has a 50% chance of augmenting her next attack to do 1.5 times more damage and cost no stamina. But it's not 100%.
I just realized the move's called Jumpty Dumpty.
A lot of powerful supportive abilities were designed with the melee damage dealer in mind. Xingqiu's Rain Cutter is a good case of this. Everyone knows he's able to trigger easy hydro reactions because normal attacks trigger consecutive rain sword hits. When paired up with say Hu Tao, she uses a normal attack first.
Oh my god, I love pairing them up together. Monsters together.
Bow users in Catalyst can't use Xingqiu as comfortably because they can either only use normal attacks or aim shot/charged ones, never both one after another, and Catalyst users rely on charge attacks very much. For those with on-field effects, such as Xiangling's Pyronado or Bennett's Circle, that involves you being at point-blank range to make use of it. The former is useless if you're far away, and you won't be able to make much use of the latter either, as your goal is to usually kite enemies which will force you out of that circle. This is usually remedied with the usage of crowd control like Venti or decoys like Ganyu, but the fact that they don't have free access to all of those makes them far less desired over someone who does. As far as the average player is concerned, Catalyst users have the worst quality of life issues in the game.
It definitely seems like it, yeah.
Universal cooldown will inherently favor those with higher capacity for rushdown. That's why mages are usually really powerful or have some extra benefit in similar games to make up for the loss of mobility or speed. It doesn't have to even be in hack and slashers. Take League of Legends. The most popular classes in that game are fighters and slayers because they have a strong mix of damage, defense, and or mobility, allowing them to steamroll over their opponents with sheer force. However, to level the playing field, mages are gifted with extraordinary area coverage and zone control with abilities that can single-handedly win a team fight. In Genshin,
yeah, I will say this real quick. It does make me think, like, I don't know which one is worse, like, in a sense. Like, because I still like the weapons in Genshin, of course, but, I mean, Catalysts have a lot of issues. I mean, and if we go back into the point I was making before, like, with bow characters and stuff, I mean, what characters really rely on just, like, the bow being cracked out like that? I mean, Ganyu, yeah. I mean, let's see, Yoimiya, but you gotta use her skill for her to be good. I mean, like, I'm just talking about straight up just charge shot or just normal shot without anything, if that's what we're talking about. Just Ganyu in that sense, right? That's what it would be in that point.
The quote-unquote mage class has nothing over the other ones.
I'm just thinking.
Area coverage. Kazuha is
I'm just thinking, like, if there was to think of like
sword.
the worst, so to speak, weapon
has
the most issues.
They certainly don't excel in damage. Range is poor for them too. They're objectively worse than bow users. That's why the majority of the community doesn't find them worth investing into. Everyone plays with the same rules, but Catalyst users have extra handicaps purely by virtue of what weapon they use. Hypothetically, a lot of
And
this
I'm
could
building
be solved the same
Ningguang
way
right
every
now.
game is solved.
Oh boy.
System changes. They've done system changes before with Geo by making it stronger universally, and they've made transformative elemental reactions stronger too. So it's
been a while since they've done some of those buffs though, huh? And I was gonna say, I don't want this to make it seem like I just like hate Catalyst users, because like I said, I built Kokomi and I really like playing as her, and Ningguang too, but there is issues that could obviously be fixed as we're seeing.
They're definitely open to doing balance.
Just want to make that clear.
Changes. The question then becomes how? I think what makes this not as easy as it looks is the current roster. Let's face it, 5 stars are better than 4 stars when it comes to damage. There's no way in hell anyone can unironically say Ningguang, Sucrose, or Yanfei are as viable as Ayaka, Shogun, or Hu Tao. I don't care who they are. Supportively, they do a fantastic job. Everyone knows Sucrose's budget Kazuha. Mona is still the vaporized queen, and Kokomi can let you face tank Spiral Abyss without risk. The problem is, there's only 3 5-star catalysts.
I legit did the Abyss yesterday, and Kokomi saved my
are more of a support than a damage dealer, leaving us with just Klee. It's much harder to pinpoint where Catalyst falls short from an offensive standpoint, as Klee's way of handling combat is rather niche. So what I think can be done to make the class more popular is, at the very least, to make them feel better to play. 3 changes come to mind. First, the very obvious exorbitant stamina cost. I understand thematically why. You're conjuring spells which take up a lot of energy, but it really doesn't have to be so high, especially since it's not that much different from a melee charge attack. If it did more damage, then yeah, absolutely. Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, and Ice Beam do less damage than Fire Blast, Thunder, and Blizzard, but they're more accurate. Basic rule of power budget. Second, have its attack pattern function the same way as melee's, where a normal attack comes out first, even if you hold the skill, and potentially shorten the animation time in between. Were that to happen, it could address the clunky nature of their normal rotation and have it fit in line with everyone else. Third, more area coverage. They have less range than bows, yet share the same property of their normal attacks not being AoE.
It should be farther, the range.
For superior range, but Catalyst should be allowed to strike multiple targets.
Yeah, they should be able to like just doom that stuff across the screen.
Dealing with clusters of enemies.
They have to implement a good system for that.
Or low enough cooldowns to clear them fast, which is why melee characters are so good. They do damage to everything around them. Catalyst users should be allowed to do that as well. I fail to understand how bursts of energy inflict less collateral damage than the swing of a sword or a spear. It just doesn't make sense. That'd be the same as Pyro being the healer element while Hydro is the damage one. My guess is the best way to truly see where the Catalyst and its users stand in the power rankings is by getting more of them. They have the most amount of customization between attacks, so maybe in the future we might see some really good ones, but that might also just be due to the character itself being overpowered, not their weapon type. Kinda like how Shogun is super broken, but Electro as an element is kinda meh. Regardless,
I get the point you're making
on this matter. And to those of you who main a Catalyst user, what are some positive things about them you think people should be aware of? There might be something the general public doesn't know about, so let us know. For now though, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a like, subscribe to the channel for more content like this.
Show them some love for sure.
Following me on Twitter, joining my Discord server, and checking out my previous discussion videos if you haven't yet. But until next time,
we'll have to check out some of the other ones
watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Like, this is a really good topic of discussion, honestly. Jesus, like, he brought up so many good points about Catalyst just having issues, you know? And it's not like we want to bash Catalyst users. That's not what this video is for. It's not like, oh, you use a Catalyst, oh, you suck, you're stupid, you know? You're an idiot for using Catalyst. It's more like, you know, I like the weapon type, but it has issues, and it's stuff that should be fixed, so it encourages even more people to want to use Catalyst users, you know? It's just, there's a lot of points that don't make sense of like the range and just the animation of how you just stand in there and how other characters are able to move around with their weapons and stuff. It's just like, I don't know. I do not know. But what I do want to see, and let me leave a like here for sure, I want to look and see what some people are saying. It says, I love how almost all the Catalyst users, I almost love all the Catalyst characters, my fault. So it's a shame that they feel like the most underdeveloped type of character. Yeah, I could agree with that very much. Very much so. And then, let's see, I find Yanfei's attacks perfectly fluid and easy to use. Honestly, the only issue is when the auto-lock chooses the wrong target, and that's a different problem. That Genshin, for some holy reason, doesn't have a button for targeting foes, which they should. Like, if you're gonna have a targeting system, like, please implement it soon and put it on these characters. They need them. They need them very, very much. It says something also to mention is Catalyst really lacks a good meta DPS weapon. The only amazing one you could think of is Solar Pearl, which is Battle Pass, which I have on Ningguang right now. Lost Prayer, Jesus, and Skyward Atlas, but none of them really excel at DPS at all. Wits is oh also a completely different story because of the RNG nature of its passive, but I think that all of these were available from release should tell you how much Catalyst needs more options. True. I mean, hopefully, there's that new weapon for Yai, right? I don't know the stats on that thing yet, but hopefully it's good and it ends up being cracked out, because we do need some good Catalyst stuff. I said I think Catalyst users are supposed to be the class that can deal elemental damage consistently in exchange for their slow attack speed and a huge stamina cost, but many characters of other classes, especially recently as in not released with the game or the first few banners, I forget, Genshin's still kind of new, have some form of elemental infusion in their kit and it becomes a trend. They could do what Catalyst users can with much more efficiency with having little to no drawback, so there's not much point in using a Catalyst anymore. Yeah. Indeed. Then I see Yanfei's attack animations are the most fluid of all Catalysts. It's really easy to do 3 normal attacks and then a charge for it to flow seamlessly. You want to be doing that anyway to consume her seals after the normals. Just slap a shield on her so she doesn't get interrupted and pair her with Zinchu, and you're golden. And the main issue is the slow projectile speed, so you could hit or miss the wrong enemy, but that's just one of the Catalyst users. So what I'm seeing here is people are saying Yanfei is good, like she's probably the best when it comes to this stuff. It's just the targeting is still an issue, so there's the general consensus there. Alright, so I just wanted to check out a few of the comments, see what some people were saying, but yeah, hopefully we see them do something in the future. I mean, you guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys are thinking, like, what's your actual thoughts on the matter, because I would love to have a discussion about this. But great video by Vars too, as always. Show them some love, subscribe to them. And yeah, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. On the road to 4,000 subscribers, we're really trying to get to it this month. It's going to be quite the journey, but we're going to do our best. So other than that, appreciate y'all, love y'all, see y'all soon, and as always, don't do crack.
Be sure to subscribe to the Special K Experience if you enjoyed this video. If not, you're going to Femboy IHOP.